Hey, welcome back to the channel, BMF Speed Shop. I'm out here working on Big Fish. Um, so I thought I'd give you guys an update. So I got the doors and some of the metal that I bought kind of just mocked up. Um, so I thought I'd give you guys a tour. I did some other work on it. I rebuilt the whole steering column, tune up, oil change. I did an oil change, a coolant flush, and yeah. So here's the doors on there. I'm gonna take all this stuff back off again because we got to do a lot more work to it. But I wanted to see, you know, I like to see put together a little bit and uh, see what it was gonna look like, the finished product or whatever. And this door, like I said, like we had talked in the other video, the passenger side door is pretty good. The driver side door is not so much. I'm not happy with it, so I'm probably gonna have to find another door for the driver side. Because it's just like the whole door is like kind of pancaked, kind of bent. It's kind of bent in one of these. Whoop, whoop. And I could pull this all out and like I can make it work, but it's never going to really look good. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it looks after I pop the huge dent out of the middle and stuff. But yep. So now we have to take everything back apart again. Oh yeah. So we rebuilt the whole steering column. Um, New rag joint, and all this stuff, and guess what? It still won't steer. So I actually moved the steering column, actually moved this whole steering column in a couple inches to accommodate for the body lift. And then we put it's got a new knuckle, new U-joint, new rag joint, everything's all new in there. And when there's weight on the axle, it still just does not want to turn. If I jack it up, you see I got the block here, jack it up, it turns just fine. So it's either the rack, or the steering box, the rack, or it's just binding because the springs are so sagged. So I guess next I'm gonna jack it up and I'm gonna put a block in here, and see if we take the sag out of the springs, if it'll steer a little bit better. So I'm really trying to get this thing running and driving. Now I know I have to take all that apart and put new springs in there, and that's probably but I want to know, I guess, if I have to buy the steering box, and it's looking like I do. So that's a future Jeremiah problem. But the horn works. That was kind of cool, even though it's not the original. I think it still needs the ground hooked up down there because I disconnected it when I took it out. But it wasn't working before. Now it does after I monkeyed with a bunch of stuff. And I got this other steering column, which I thought was a good deal for $20, but it turns out that the guy that took it out just cut the pigtail off of there. I was just going to put the whole new green column in there, but now I can't. So yeah, that kind of sucked. I didn't really pay attention to it, when it's $20. So I ended up just taking the shaft part. I did start cutting on that side, and then most of the rust is cut out over here on the floor. It's really not that bad. I think I can make that piece. And then I got this big piece of steel right here. I'm going to use that to make the inner rocker on that side. We're going to do that side first because the door works better, and I like the door better. So we'll make the passenger side look good first. But I think first we still got to keep taking stuff apart. I just wanted to mock it all up. I'm going to take it all back apart again, because I like wasting like 2 days of work. So I started over here. I got this headlight out, and then now I can get in here and get the bolts for the fenders. I got the cowl off. I got the bolts for the top of the fenders out, and Now, the only thing holding the front on is these fenders on is that one bolt in there, or a couple bolts in here, one up here, and then a couple over here. And then the front core support mounts. And then I can take the whole front clip off, and then I can get in here and clean up this engine. Because it's been really, well, I got to do the chassis and the engine. Do all that, clean it all up while everything's taken apart. And it'll look all nice and brand new. Brakes, this master cylinder. I got to order a new one of those. It's black. It looks like the booster. So I think it's a non-marine style. But it could be a marine style. I'm not completely remember. There's two different styles, and I might end up just buying both of them because I believe that this truck over here, this 71, has a gold booster. Hey, this one over here has a gold. See? It looks the same, though, pretty much. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna buy both the master cylinders. So I'm sure that's going to need to be replaced. The brakes do work, but they're very tight. You got to really like that piston is seized up in there. So that's very normal. It was circulating and up to temp, but I don't think it has a thermostat in it because when I looked in the coolant thing, it was really foamy. It was like foamy in there. We did a coolant flush. I drained all the coolant out, and it wasn't that bad. It's in the back there. I don't know if you've seen it. I did oil change on it, and the oil actually wasn't that bad. I didn't find anything bad in there. Everything looks really good. So now she's got off, and I don't know why I did those two things, but the thing runs way better now. It's weird. It started up, but I don't want to mess with those doors. They don't open and close very good because there's no rocker. Not that everything's loose, so they're not quite lined up perfectly. And I don't have any shims in there, so that's just normal. Looks like the heater core is bypassed. I didn't notice that before. What else is going on in here? Yeah, that's about it, I guess. I don't know why it doesn't steer, so that's next. I think it's because those ball joints are so freaking tight. I don't know. We had a hell of a time getting this thing on the trailer because the rag joint broke immediately because it was binding up, and I'm wondering if that's what caused this whole thing to be parked. Is that he was having problems with that before steering thing went out, and then he just parked it over there because he didn't want to mess with it, and he took the radiator out because that's kind of like in the way of the fucking thing. I ain't sure. I ain't never encountered this. Normally it's just the rag joint, and you put a new rag joint in there, and then the vehicle works fine. My Monte Carlo had a bad rag joint when we did the new column in there. The floor shift conversion, I did the rag joints in there, and I took all the slop out. I had a Cougar that had a lot of slop. The guy thought this front end was gone, and then it was just literally just that rag joint. And, it's a $12 part or whatever. But if you listen to me blab on this long, you might as well hit the subscribe button. Thanks a lot for watching. I just wanted to update you guys. Now I have to stop all progress and clean my yard and the garage because I haven't did that since like the last 5 projects, and it is a disaster in there. And then I'm gonna back this truck in the garage and get it out of the driveway for a while and work on it in there in the shade. And then I'm gonna move to this truck and work on this thing and finish this dang LS swap, or take it out and put a freaking big block in there like it should be, right? Something's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. Something's happening with that because the kid's going back to school in a couple of weeks. I wanted this truck done before she went back to school, So I'm upset with her, Lila, my daughter, not working on it, and then so we're gonna get her out here and get her working on it. So stay tuned for that. That'll be hopefully the next video. So thanks a lot for watching and following along, listening to me ramble on.